So Frank Lampard has had a fantastic impact at Coventry City, taking over in 17th of November, and you now find them in March in the playoffs, well in a good shout at getting a playoff place. Probably, I think, the best team in the Championship in 2025. How has he done it? What's he tweaked? What's he changed? He's still got some of his core principles that we saw at Derby, and in particular Chelsea. And I'll be honest, this has been the hardest video of the week to research. I thought it would be simple, and it's not. The style is simple, but trying to find player roles for different variations. We've got 3 variations of a tactic, and even then it's not set. And we'll go through all the tweaks and changes that you can make. I think it's a really nice base for you to create your own sort of like system. So I've got 3 tactics. One's a 4. We've got a 3-4-3 and a 3-5-2. And then round that, they've got a really not balanced squad. It's balanced in terms of being able to play multiple roles and players being able to play multiple positions, and different players coming in then kind of changes that role altogether. And I think that's maybe one of the reasons why they're in such good form, because I don't think away managers can really know who's going to play. 1 minute, they're a 4-3-3, and then sometimes it looks very much like a 4-2-3-1. We'll show you some sort of like average positions and pass maps and stuff to kind of explain that. Then it's a 3-4-3, then it's a 3-5-2, and it kind of gives you a really difficult way of researching the team and what they're going to be like. Until the team sheet comes out, it's probably really difficult to know what Frank Lampard's doing at that point. Okay, let's get into it. 3 tactics for you as well. Let's go. So, first thing I'm going to show you is a couple of maps. And then it kind of shows us. So we're going to look at a couple of games here, 4 games. The Bristol City game in January, this was what really kick-started that fantastic run of form. A bit inconsistent wins and draws and losses until this point, and then this is where, I think they all ended up losing to Leeds, and then have recently lost to Derby, but this is where this really good run came from. So Bristol City at home, we're going to look at the game against Queen's Park, Rangers at home, the 2-1 win against Preston in February, and then the most recent one, a 3-0 win over Sunderland. So generally the run started with 2 strikers. This guy, Rodoni, oh my life, he is the most difficult player to kind of understand what the hell he is doing in terms of Football Manager. So Football Manager fans, Coventry fans, Rodoni fans, let me know what the hell, it will change from position to position, but at the moment, here's your 3. Kitchen, really good left back / centre half, so really well balanced. This guy, Joel, also, I'm not going to pronounce his second name because I'm going to absolutely butcher that one. Binks in the middle. Have also got Thomas that can play in the middle. And then they've got sitters today in Joe Allen and Torp, but then Torp can also play as a second striker at times. And then for this game, they had Ellis Sims, Thomas Asante. Haji Wright would have been out injured, I think, at this point. Yeah, he would have been. He's just really come back the last couple of weeks. And then Rodoni in this sort of I suppose it could be like a 3-4 kind of 1-2, I suppose, with maybe Rodoni in behind 2 strikers. So that's that game. Fast forward a couple of weeks, and then he goes to a 3-4-3. So we've got Thomas, then the right centre-back. Binks is still there in Kitchen with, I think that'll be Bidwell. Let me get rid of that betting sponsor. We got De Silva that time. Milan Van Ejwijk. I'm going to butcher that. We'll just go with Milan. And then the Japanese international Sakamoto on the right. Rodoni then on kind of the left half space. And then 2 sitters in Grimes and Torp, with once again Ellis Sims up front. So that was 3-4-2-1 by the looks of it, as it says. And they've gone with a 3-5-2 in the first game. So there's a little variation. And then this one, Preston North End, it says 3-4-2-1. And I don't know what it is. On here, you would say it was a 4, because you got your 2 centre-halves there in Kitchen and Thomas. Your 2 full-backs, they're a little bit more withdrawn, especially Milan on this right-hand side. You've got 2 sitters, and then you've got Rodoni pretty much playing as a second striker behind Ellis Sims, with 2 wide players in Sakamoto this time, and Mason Clark. So that's an unusual one. And then the most recent one against Sunderland, Milan, Thomas, Kitchen, De Silva, 2 holders, Grimes and Allen, with then Torp just a little bit further ahead. Mason Clark out to the left. Haji Wright came in and scored a hat-trick. And then Sakamoto on the right. So, wow. Yeah. This is why it's been super difficult. So what I've done is I've put 3 tactics together. All have similar playing principles. So what a Frank Lampard team generally likes, and what he found really difficult at Everton to kind of implement, was energetic, high press, quite high intensity, not an over-reliance on playing short and sharp, wants to get the ball forward quite quickly. When you've got strikers such as Wright, Sims, Asante, who can kind of get in behind. It's important that we get the ball forward. Not quickly, but yeah, quickly. Not always direct, but there's that option as well, kind of playing channels, dinking it into the strikers to hold up. Energetic midfield. And very importantly, the wide players in terms of the fullbacks. Really, in particular, the fullbacks being really aggressive, really high and wide, and that naturally allows the wingers to sort of like to tuck in. So this is what I've kind of put together. A lot of the player instructions, team instructions have changed. I think it's a really good save for you to do and a tactic to kind of build where the squad that he's built is so... Well, not he's, sorry. The squad that Mark Robbins has built, and then they've added to it, you know, the introduction of Matt Grimes in January has been tremendous. They've also signed Jamie Patterson recently. So they've built a really nice squad, and they've managed to get over the losses of big players, you know, losing Gyökeres, Gustavo Hamer. There's another one that I'm forgetting. Sorry, Coventry fans. Can't think right now. But yeah, losing big players on a regular basis. They've done really well to kind of keep obviously they started so slow, but the underlying numbers for Coventry under Matt Robbins, they kind of deserve to be a lot higher than what they were. All right, so we've done 3 variations. We want to let's go with the 3-5-2. So this is the one that I actually thought maybe Rodoni was a bit of an AP. So sweeper keeper on defend. Dovin likes to play it from the back. Once again, nothing overplayed, nice and simple, really good shot stopper. And then at times they were playing Joel at right centre-back, and he was often moving into these sort of like half spaces. So we've got a wing, wide centre-back on defend, and the same on the other side to give us a nice little balance. Liam Kitchen has played left-back as well at times, so a really good player to have. I do like when you're having 3 at the back, you have your wide centre-backs, players that are comfortable in full-back positions. So they're really comfortable. Generally might be a little bit smaller, but maybe a little bit quicker than your average centre-half. You know, I prefer if we're talking, let's talk Manchester United going with a 3 at the back, I would prefer a Luke Shaw to be playing a left centre-half rather than a Harry Maguire, just because of the sort of like the speed, the turning pace, being able to play a little bit on that left foot. And I think that's the same. That's why it's fit really well with Kitchen. And then they've obviously got players like Binks, Thomas, that have been playing the middle part. The right-hand side, ever-present, Milan Van on that right-hand side. We've got him as a complete wing-back on attack. The left wing-back, once again, not as aggressive. He's just a standard wing-back, but he's going to hold his width. Bidwell, or it has also been De Silva in there as well. I think more recently it's probably been De Silva. And then this too, like it could be 2 DMs, you could do a DLP, it could be a Volante. I'm going on the basis that Grimes is a little bit more of the sitter, and then maybe going for someone like an Eccles, maybe to go in there, or even a Torp could probably go in there. The game doesn't like him being in there, but having just that Volante, just someone who's going to get a little bit further forward. I watched the game against Stoke City, and he was in and around the penalty area. Looking for a little drop ball, so obviously he's trying to get a little bit further up. Rodoni, like, it could be anything. Shadow striker, playmaker, trequartista. Obviously, whatever you want roam from position and move into channels because he get further forward, maybe because he gets absolutely everywhere. And then strikers like Haji Wright could be pressing forward. You definitely want a presser up there because of the system. They've got Asante, Ellis Sims, any variation of maybe a target forward on attack. You know, what does Ellis Sims like to be a target forward potentially, so a target forward. It just all changes depending on the players, the player profiles. And at the moment he's making little subtle tweaks with the system. And then obviously that means that the role changes. It's not as if it's a hard-coded team. Whoever comes in takes up that role. A different player coming into the side can completely change the system and the tactic. And I think it also gives him really good options on the bench. It's not always like for like. So there's the 3-5. The 3-4-3, it's all similar, but what we're now bringing is looking at players such as Sakamoto on this right-hand side. Haji Wright actually played there as well at times. He played in the defeat against Derby County. He played in the 4-3-3 on that side. So Sakamoto, very much a wide player, but he is left-footed. So you could go winger on attack and then cut inside with the ball. But I have noticed in a couple of games that I've been watching, when the fullback gets high, they've been coming in really narrow and really high. It was like 3 strikers in the box. So you could maybe go like winger on support, cut inside, inverted winger on support, inverted winger on attack. Yeah, it could be any of those. I just remember Sakamoto's left-footed, so you always want, if you're going to be on that side, just make sure you've got cut inside with the ball if you do play him as a winger. Left-hand side, the same. Like, I don't think Radoni, but then sometimes Radoni out of possession looks like he's been playing out there. So there's him. Hadji Wright's played there a little bit, but it also has been Mason Clark. Once again, winger, wants to be right-footed. He's going to cut in. I think if you're going down the route of like a Hadji Wright, it would probably be, would it be an inside forward? But yeah, probably an inside forward on attack or something like that. No player instructions. And then for the striker, for me, in these single strikers like Ellis Sims, Hadji Wright, just go pressing forward. And I think that will work quite well. And then we move into a 4-3-3. And I've done it again. Now, at times, I actually like this one with Radoni coming in alongside. And I don't know how often he's done this, but like a double, like a 2-8, two aggressive 8. So that could be a Mazzala as well. That could be a Mazzala for Radoni. Pressing forward, you're looking at maybe a Hadji Wright. Let's get Mason Clark out on that left-hand side. Like any Coventry fans, I would love it. I think we're going to go down the route with more of a 4-3-3, but I would love to get your thoughts on, how this team looks. We've gone a half-back for Grimes because I said I do see him sitting, and also with your wing-backs getting quite high, it would be a nice way to build, split the two centre-halves that way. It's been... I'm sorry this video is not as intense, as in like accurate as you would have hoped. I don't know, but I think it shows the improvement that he's made, and he's been a little bit more tactically flexible, a little bit of kind of, not pragmatism. Yeah, they're not like possession numbers are quite average. They're quite happy for teams. I imagine Sheffield United tonight, they'll be sat behind the ball. Like they have been playing 18 minutes. It's still 0-0. They've had a little bit more of the ball. They've had 54% of the ball. So they are playing with the 3 at the back. The 4-3-3 as well. So, yeah. Coventry Sky Blue fans, I want to know, like, what the hell would you do with, like, I know it depends on players. What would be your ideal midfield 3 as well? Would it be Radoni, Top, Grimes? Is that too much in terms of attack heavy with Top and Radoni? Do you need an Eccles in there? Do you need an Allen in there? What will happen if when Ben Sheaf comes up? Will it be Ben Sheaf? Maybe Grimes double pivot with maybe a Top and Radoni as maybe a number 10. Like the options are endless. Into the in possession, wide attacking width. We're going to focus the play, not focus, but we're going to overlap right just so we can get Sakamoto cutting in on that left, getting Milan a little bit more further around that right hand side. Slightly shorter passing. Once again, numbers aren't amazing in terms of possession. Not amazing, that's the wrong word. Like high. They're not that, he does sit back a lot. They do allow the play, they aren't bothered about possession for possession's sake. They play quite direct at times. So that's why I've done that with a higher tempo. Be more expressive. He wants to allow those players, them Sakamotos, Mason Clarks, Hadji Wright, Radoni, Grimes at times as a 6, who's the other on top, to kind of express themselves. Hit crosses early. Out of the top 5 leagues and the championship, they are so over 118 clubs, 120 clubs. There's only Fulham that are on more crosses per 90 than Coventry. Now, that just shows what they're trying to do, get balls into wide areas. Obviously, when you're playing with wing-backs as well, generally you get them nice and high and they're crossing from deeper areas. So we're going to mix the crosses and hit early crosses as well with that instruction of, as I said, being more expressive. Goalkeeper I've left blank. Like, I suppose if you're going with a back 3, you might distribute to the centre-backs. If you're going to potentially go with the half-back, the 4-3-3, I would maybe look at doing that and distributing to Matt Grimes as the half-back. I would maybe look at that. Counter-pressing, yes, quite aggressive without the ball, Coventry. And then counter-attacking, yes, Hadji Wright loves hitting, when the full-backs have pushed up. Hadji Wright, Ellis Sims, so good at working centre-halves, moving into wider areas, making them centre-halves really work, kind of capitalising on maybe any spaces left by full-backs. And then out of possession, simple, high line, high press. They will drop in at times, mid-block, but generally a Frank Lampard kind of general side likes to press high. All right, I don't know, like, your thoughts on it, on this video that I've done. I thought I have to do it because I've said I was going to do it, and it's really good to see a team that are completely different, not in terms of the style. So, the team instructions are staying the same, but the system, the player roles changes from game to game, and it's absolutely brilliant to see. All right, well done, Frank. Thanks for watching. Go check out the Patreon if you want the tactic. All 3 tactics are available. Set up your own Frank Lampard style system. Change from game to game. Can you build a squad as good as what this has done in terms of being able to really regularly play 3-4-3s, 3-5-2s, 4-3-3s? Yeah, absolutely tremendous. Thanks for watching, guys. Smash a like. See you later.